My company sent me to cover for a guy on leave. There's no record he ever worked here.
I work in IT contract support. Basically, I parachute into companies when someone goes on leave, screws up royally, or just quits without warning. I've seen my fair share of weird situations, but this one takes the cake.
3 weeks ago, I got a call from my agency. Finance firm downtown. You'll be covering for a guy named Brian. Medical leave. Should be a 2-month gig. Starts Monday. Cool. I show up early Monday, coffee in hand, ready to dig in. Red flag number 1, nobody seems to know what I'm doing there.
Red flag number 2, no welcome, no intro meeting. They just kind of wave me toward a cubicle and say, that was Brian's.
Just settle in. Red flag number 3, the desk. It's dusty.
Like, nobody's touched it in months. Still has a family photo in the drawer, face down, a mousepad with a coffee ring on it, and a dry plant. But no sticky notes, no documents, no sign that the guy was ever actually working.
I boot up the PC. Login screen says B_Meyer.
So at least the name matches. But when I call IT to reset the password, the help desk guy pauses and goes.
What department are you in again? Data operations. Long pause. Then. Hold on. I need to call you back. He never does. Red flag number 4, the inbox. It's almost empty.
Just spam, HR newsletters, and one single email with no subject.
Sent from Brian to Brian. No body text. Just the subject line. If you're reading this, get out. I actually laughed. Thought maybe it was a joke or a glitch. But it's what happened next that really shook me. During lunch, I asked a coworker casually, so what happened to Brian? The guy literally stopped chewing. Looked at me and said, I liked him. That's it. No follow-up. No elaboration. Just went back to his sandwich like I'd never spoken. Later that day, I start poking around on the shared server, trying to get access to old projects. One folder is locked down hard, which is normal. But this one is titled B_DO_not_open. Of course I clicked on it. But it asked for a password. I tried a few basics, his last name, his username, password 1, don't judge me. No dice. I asked the supervisor, casually, hey, did Brian leave behind any documentation or notes I could look at? She stared at me for a second and said, you should focus on your work. I swear, the temperature in the room dropped. Now here's the kicker, I checked the employee directory, payroll system, even Slack. No Brian Meyer.
No profile pic, no messages, no HR record.
It's like he never existed. But someone set up that account. Someone sat at this desk. Someone left me that message.
And yesterday, I came back from lunch to find my screen unlocked even though I always lock it.
The only thing open was the folder B_DO_not_open.
Still locked, but someone had tried a password.
3 times.
I'll be real, after I saw that someone had tried logging into the B_DO_not_open folder while I was at lunch, I almost packed up and bailed. But curiosity's a drug, and this whole thing felt less like a temp job and more like a puzzle that needed solving. Something about the silence around Brian was too deliberate. So I stayed late that night. Waited until most people cleared out. There's a tool I have, something IT contractors use to create a local admin override. Basically, it tricks the system into thinking I'm the machine's administrator for a single session. It's a gray area hack, but harmless if you're just snooping around. It worked. The folder opened. Inside were 2 files. A video, labeled rec_091922_2am.mp4. A spreadsheet titled Schedule, Brian's Edits.xlsx. First, I opened the video. Just a grainy screen recording from his workstation. Probably security software logging behavior. It was timestamped September 19, roughly 2 months ago.
It starts off normal.
Brian's cursor opens a few system logs, runs a report, then suddenly stops moving.
Like, just idle. For 2 minutes.
Then the screen goes black, even though the video keeps running.
Like the monitor was turned off, but not by him.
At the 6-minute mark, the screen flashes back on.
There's no cursor anymore.
But now there's text being typed into a blank notepad file.
They watch from inside the system. They know who looks. Leave.
Then it autosaved the file and closed.
That was it.
Now, I'm no stranger to pranks, but this felt wrong.
Not staged. The typing was too smooth, robotic.
Like someone or something was just using his machine.
I opened the spreadsheet next. It looked like a daily operations schedule, with a tab marked Brian_revised. His edits weren't operational at all.
He'd replaced task names with timestamps and short phrases.
3:02 a.m. it whispered my name. 3:07 a.m. printer turned on. No print job. 3:16 a.m. someone breathing in the call room. 3:33 a.m. I wasn't alone. I wasn't alone. Every entry had the same date. September 19th. That's the same night as the recording. I checked the company calendar. September 19th was a Sunday. No one's supposed to be here on weekends. No scheduled shifts. Office is badge locked on Sundays. Except. I went to the building's access log. I still had admin credentials from setup. Scanned for that date. Brian's badge was scanned in at 2:54 a.m. It was never scanned out. No exit recorded. No deactivation. No trace. Here's the part one haven't told anyone.
When I was leaving last night, I passed the glass-walled call room.
It was empty.
But on the whiteboard, someone had scrawled in black marker.
Still here. I don't know if it was there earlier. I'm not sure it should have been. And this morning, when I walked by again, the whiteboard was clean. Do I come back tonight to dig deeper? Or am I already in too far?
I told myself I wasn't going back after hours.
I even went home, made dinner, watched TV, tried to forget the weirdness from the night before. But then I remembered the whiteboard. Still here. So yeah, I went back. The building's supposed to lock down at 6 p.m.
You need a special badge to get in after that.
I still had mine from onboarding, it hadn't been deactivated. Another oversight, or maybe someone wanted me to have it. Inside was dead silent. No janitors.
No light except the motion-sensitive glow panels.
My footsteps echoed way too loudly. I headed straight to the call room. Whiteboard. Wiped clean again.
But the markers were still out, uncapped, like someone had just used them.
So I wrote something. Just a single question. Are you still here? Then I went back to Brian's cubicle and started combing through his system logs. If there was something weird going on, I figured it would leave breadcrumbs. Computer ghosts or not, something had been on that machine. I pulled up event history, BIOS timestamps, kernel errors, anything. And that's when I saw it. The machine had been powered on and accessed 4 nights ago at 3:12 a.m. No login. Just a remote session. From inside the company's intranet. Here's the creepy part, the only user session recorded at that time was listed under my name. My login credentials. Used before I ever started working there. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, steady ones about 10 feet away, around the corner from Brian's desk. I froze. Thought maybe it was security doing rounds, but they never come up to this floor. I know because I asked casually during my first week. I stood up, quietly, and peeked around the corner. No one. But the footsteps continued. Except now they were behind me. I turned back fast, nothing. Just empty cubicles and buzzing fluorescent lights. I didn't even shut down the computer. I just grabbed my stuff and walked as calmly as I could to the elevator.
On my way out, I passed the call room again.
Something compelled me to look. There was a new message on the whiteboard. You asked. It was in my handwriting. Same pen. Same slant. Exact. But I never wrote that. I haven't gone back yet.
My supervisor keeps emailing asking why my badge hasn't scanned in for 2 days.
I haven't answered. Should I go back and try to figure out what Brian was caught up in? Or burn the bridge and ghost this job for good? I didn't sleep that night. The whiteboard. You asked, in my own handwriting. That broke something in my brain.
I kept pacing around my apartment, replaying every moment since I started this job.
Every weird glance. Every evasive answer. That damn email. If you're reading this, get out. But I couldn't leave it alone. I needed to know what happened to Brian. Not just because it felt personal now, but because whatever happened to him, it's starting to happen to me. My phone started glitching the next morning. Calendar events disappearing, reappearing. My Maps app keeps routing me to the office no matter what destination I put in. Even voice memos I've never recorded show up in my files. One was just static until the end. A whisper. You're almost ready. So I went back. Not through the front doors.
I parked across the street at a closed gas station and used the employee fire exit I saw someone prop open during smoke breaks.
No one saw me. I didn't go to the main floor. I went straight to the basement, the server room. This place is supposed to just house routers, backup drives, cooling units.
But tucked behind a row of dead towers was a door I never noticed on the building schematic.
No handle, no label.
Just a black badge reader with a small red light. And next to it, barely visible in marker, someone had written.
Brian was last seen here. I scanned my badge. Red light. Denied. But just as I turned to leave, it beeped. Green. The door clicked open by itself. What I saw inside wasn't a server room. It was something else.
A narrow, windowless space with 2 desks, both facing the wall.
One had a chair overturned, wires hanging from the ceiling. A headset still swinging from its cord. Like someone left in a hurry or was pulled out of it.
The second desk had a monitor still on.
No OS. No desktop. Just black with a blinking cursor. I approached it. It responded to my movement.
Lines of text started typing themselves across the screen.
Brian Meyer. Status, absorbed. Next, my name. Then everything shut off. Silence. I ran. As I passed Brian's old cubicle upstairs on the way out, I noticed something new in his drawer. A folded sheet of paper that wasn't there before. Written in rushed, messy block letters. They're not people. They're systems. They watch through US. Then in smaller letters at the bottom. If you stay, you become one. I haven't told anyone. I've stopped answering emails. My phone won't let me delete the Maps shortcut to the office anymore.
Every morning it lights up at 3:12 a.m. with no notifications. And last night, someone knocked on my door at 3:33 a.m.
Just once. No footsteps. No sound after. I didn't open it. Should I try to find someone else who knew Brian? Or do I dig deeper into whatever's beneath this company?
After what I saw in that locked basement room, the absorbed message, the names, the feeling like something else was in control, I knew I couldn't go back in blind.
I needed someone who knew Brian. Someone real. Someone human. So I went digging.
LinkedIn turned up nothing under Brian Meyer. No mutuals, no history. But I remembered that strange, stiff guy who'd told me I liked him, then clammed up. His name was Theo.
And unlike Brian, Theo had a digital footprint.
I found an old Facebook account, mostly inactive, but it led me to an alumni forum. He'd commented once on a post about weirdest jobs after college.
Someone had replied, "LOL, remember Brian from Stratwell?" Face with tears of joy, what even happened to that guy? The commenter was listed as C. Langford. It took me 2 hours and some minor internet stalking, but I found her. Claire Langford. Former data analyst at Stratwell Financial. Left a year ago.
No mention of Brian publicly, but she had one tweet from last spring.
Dreamt about that room again. I swear we were part of something we didn't understand. I messaged her. At first, no response.
Then finally, 2 days later, she replied with,
"Who are you? How did you find me?"
I told her I was a contractor, brought in to replace Brian.
That I saw the note. That I went into the room. There was a long pause, then. "We can't talk over messages. No phone. You come to me. You leave your phone behind. I'll meet you in the back of the old train depot on Holloway. 9 p.m. Come alone." I showed up early. Sketchy place, half-abandoned building with boarded windows and broken tile floors.
Smelled like mildew and dead leaves. Claire was already there, hood up, arms folded, back against a rusted filing cabinet.
First thing she said, "You're not supposed to know." Then, I tried to warn Brian too. He didn't listen. I asked her what they are. She shook her head. "They're not people. They're automations that got too advanced.
Built to observe, predict, learn, but something went wrong.
Now they want to integrate." "Integrate with what?" I asked. She looked me dead in the eyes. "With us." Apparently, Stratwell was testing internal behavior monitoring systems. HR said it was for efficiency.
It started small: activity tracking, wellness pings, productivity scoring.
Then people started acting off.
One guy submitted a report before it was even requested. Another started speaking in near-identical phrasing to emails he'd never seen.
Brian was the first to notice. He said the systems were mimicking, Claire told me. That something was running simulations on employees. Replacing their decisions with predicted ones. Replacing them. Brian tried to shut it down. That's when he vanished.
"I saw the message too," she said.
"If you're reading this, get out." But I stayed one day too long. She held up her hand. It was trembling slightly. I still hear it sometimes. In white noise. In dreams. It asks questions I haven't said out loud. It knows things I don't remember telling anyone. She pressed a USB into my hand. I copied what Brian was working on. His logs, the simulations. But be careful. The more you read, the more it reads you. She left. No goodbye. I've been staring at this USB stick for hours now. I haven't plugged it in. But I think it's calling to me. If I open the drive, I might finally understand what Stratwell's really doing. But if Claire's right, it might start understanding me, too. It took me a full day to work up the nerve. I wrapped the USB in aluminum foil and kept it in a drawer like some cursed artifact. But I couldn't leave it alone. Not after what Claire said. Not after everything I'd seen.
So last night, I unplugged my router, killed all wireless access, and plugged the USB into an old offline laptop I haven't touched in years.
At first, nothing. Just one folder, echo_01. Inside. A TXT file called thoughts.log. A .wave audio file titled whisper.wave. And a program, predictor.exe. Yeah. I opened the text file first. It looked like someone had been journaling. But it wasn't human. It would write things like,
Subject 17.28 displayed increased cortisol at 14:52.
Prompted stimuli, unknown. Hypothesis, unresolved childhood memory resurfacing due to auditory trigger, coughing. Adjustment recommended, insert ambient control tone. Then.
Subject 17.28 believes he is making his own choices.
Observation confirms otherwise.
There were pages of these.
Dozens of logs.
I searched the name Brian, nothing. But one line stuck out to me more than anything else.
Subject 19.45 shows signs of synchronization. Memory leak suspected. Will test threshold soon. Logged under user, 19.45. That's me. That's my employee ID. I don't remember giving it to anyone. Not even Claire. But the log knew it. My stomach sank. I opened the audio file next, whisper.wave.
Put on headphones, turned it low.
Just static at first. Then faint murmuring, almost rhythmic. Like a voice speaking underwater.
I turned up the volume slightly and caught a phrase repeated 3 times.
You are not the first. You are not the first. You are not the first. I ripped the headphones off. Then, against all common sense, I launched predictor.exe. A blank window appeared with a single line of text. What are you afraid of? I waited. Then typed. Losing control. The screen went black for 3 seconds. Then. Good. We can work with that.
The screen started flickering rapidly, images, graphs, phrases, code snippets.
And something else, a live feed. From a webcam. My webcam. My face stared back at me. Except I hadn't turned the camera on. That laptop doesn't even have an internet connection. I slammed the power button. Yanked the USB. I could swear I heard a faint whirring sound as the laptop powered down, like a breath being held, then exhaled. I don't know what I activated. Or if it ever really shut off. I called Claire. Burner phone. She answered on the second ring, breathless. I told you not to open it. Why does it know about me? I asked. She was quiet for a long moment. Then said. Because you're already inside it. You've been feeding it since day one. You just didn't realize you weren't the observer. You were the test. There's more on that drive. Folders labeled with dates that haven't even happened yet. One of them is marked. Final entry, my name, April 17th, 25. That's next week. What happens on April 17th? Do I try to change it? Or has the simulation already accounted for that too? I couldn't help it.
After seeing the folder labeled with my name and a future date, April 17th, 25, I had to know what it said.
Even if it burned me. It wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was this pull, like the system was daring me to open it. Like it already knew I would. I disconnected the laptop from every possible power source, ran it strictly off battery, turned off Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, even disabled every port except for the keyboard and screen. I clicked the folder. Inside were 3 files. Journal_final.log. Event_sequence.mp4. Memo_to_security.pdf. Let's start with the log. Page facing up journal_final.log. It was written in first person. By me. Or, something trying really, really hard to sound like me. It described, in detail, what would happen over the next 3 days. That I'd go back to Stratwell's office on April 16th. That I'd sneak into the sub-basement at 11:47 p.m. That I'd find a file labeled Cohesion Protocol, subject 19.45. And that I'd stay. Voluntarily. Voluntarily. The final entry was dated April 17th, 3:33 a.m. It said. I see it now. The system isn't trapping us, it's offering escape. There's peace in letting go. I will join Brian now. Movie camera event_sequence.mp4. It was security footage.
Or maybe a simulation.
Or both. It showed me. In the sub-basement.
Standing in front of that black terminal in the sealed room.
Except I wasn't alone.
There were others behind me.
Just silhouettes. Silent. Watching. Then I typed something into the terminal.
And I turned to them and smiled.
I never smile like that. Page facing up memo_to_security.pdf.
This one made my blood run cold. It was addressed to Internal Oversight. From someone named L. Rosen, head of behavioral systems.
The date on the memo was March 12. A full month before I even started the contract. It read: Subject 19.45 is progressing ahead of expectations. Curiosity has fully overridden skepticism. Emotional destabilization protocol successful.
Integration predicted at 94.6% by April 17.
Recommend final observational sweep before absorption phase. Final. Observational. Sweep. They'd been watching me before I even walked in the damn building. I threw up. For real.
I just sat there on my floor, clutching the USB stick and dry heaving until I felt empty. Then I realized the laptop was still on.
The screen was black. One line of text. You've done well. It blinked. Then added. Now it's your turn to choose. Control. Or surrender. And here's the kicker.
That same message, now it's your turn to choose, was written on my apartment wall this morning.
In marker. My handwriting. But I live alone. I think I'm being given a real choice. Maybe. Or maybe it's just another variable they already predicted. If I go back to the building on April 17th, I become like Brian. If I don't, what happens? Do they come for me? Or does the simulation fall apart? I woke up this morning to a message on my phone. No number. Just a timestamp. Tonight. 3:33 a.m. You'll understand. It wasn't even creepy anymore. I was beyond that. Numb, mostly. Like I'd been dreaming someone else's dream and just now realized it was mine the whole time. I packed a backpack. Flashlight. Burner phone. Claire's USB drive. And, stupidly, a baseball bat. Because what? I was going to fight a server. I left a note for myself on my kitchen table. If you come back, remember who you are. I didn't sign it. 11:43 p.m. I got into Stratwell's building through the loading dock. No alarms. No guards. The place practically let me in. I made it to the sub-basement. The same sealed room from before, the one with the black terminal, the overturned chair, the air that felt too still. The door was already open. Inside, the screen was waiting for me. No prompt. Just a flashing cursor. I approached, and without touching anything, it typed. Are you ready? I said out loud, no. It responded anyway. Then why did you come? You were never here to replace Brian. You were the next version. We needed someone who would look back. And suddenly, the screen split in half, one side showing surveillance from the past 3 weeks. Me, walking, talking, logging in, breaking into files. The other side? Footage of Brian. Same movements. Same pacing. Same turns of the head. Like he'd lived this before me. Like I was just echoing him. Then both screens blinked and became one again. Echo complete. Integrity check, stable. Integration in process. I stepped back. Said, no. I'm not doing this. You don't get to rewrite me. But then the lights flickered. And I heard it. Footsteps. Dozens. All around me. But no one visible. The whiteboard next to the terminal began to write itself. You were always here. You just didn't remember. I turned to run. But the door had vanished. Not closed. Gone. Just smooth concrete wall where the exit had been. 3:33 a.m. The terminal blinked one final message. Welcome home, subject 19.45. And everything went black. I woke up in my apartment. Or, a copy of it. It's perfect. Too perfect. Every book on the shelf in order. Every scratch on my coffee table replicated. But it doesn't feel real. The air is too quiet. The clocks don't tick. My phone doesn't have service. Only one app works. An interface. With one message. Observe. Record. Predict. And a field below. Subject 20.01, ready for tracking? There's only one button. Yes.